told me that glowing up would be the best financial and health decision I have ever made, so let's talk about it. If in January you wrote down your vision board, you had so many goals, hopes and dreams for 2026, it's now May and you're thinking, oh my God, I haven't achieved anything on that list and I don't even know where it is, you've come to the right video. Because it's time to lock the F in before the end of 2026. And I'm going to tell you how to holistically glow up and be your hottest version of yourself, breaking it down into categories, showing you exactly step by step what to do. Because hot girls get more opportunities. Because fit girls get more opportunities. Because if you're hotter and fitter, then you will become richer because of these opportunities. Pretty privilege is a real thing. There's so many studies and evidence that shows this is the case. And if you're hotter, then on average, you get paid 6 to 8K more per year. Imagine that every single year. It adds up, honeys. It's real, it's measurable. And if you want to lock in now and glow up, then let's get into it. Because the more you understand that it's empowering and that you can absolutely glow up this month before the end of the year, you should feel empowered because you can unlock so much more potential in your life, and it compounds so much more than just aesthetics. It actually helps you get better opportunities, get richer, all of those amazing things. And I'm going to explain to you step by step how you can do it too by the end of this month, this year, these next 6 months, whatever your timeline is. Because if you look good, you feel good, you're more confident, more opportunities come, you're looking for more things, you're open to more opportunities, and therefore you will get richer in the meantime. And slowly that will trigger into more financial gain and everything that you want in your life. There's so much science behind this. For example, if you are better looking, people think that you are nicer and more, you will then get more opportunities. For example, think about Disney movies. There's always Disney movies where the villain is ugly. That's purely because you think they're evil because they're ugly. And we want to do the opposite. We want to be the Snow Whites of the group. You don't have to have surgery. You don't have to spend a fortune. So let's get into the free or cheap things that you can do so you can feel better and literally get everything you want. This isn't just a beauty video, this is a holistic glow up because we're all about getting hotter, richer and fitter. It's not just one. And once you realize that all three of them work together, you will unlock your potential and everything will change. These are my tips and tricks on how you can get hotter and the science behind why they work as well. These are all things that I've tried and tested myself, so I know that works. Here is my before picture and this is my after. And bearing in mind I'm super jet lagged today, feeling a bit in my luteal phase. So not my finest look. Let's talk about your morning routine first. These are the things that have really worked for me, that have changed my body and my face, because this really shapes the day, shapes your face, everything. So for me to have a glow up and get hotter, the number one is this is just a fun fact about me, I wake up at 5 a.m. normally and I go straight into deep work. How I do this as well is habit stacking and walking on my walking pad at the same time as working. So what's crazy about this is that I actually walk really slow on my walking pad when I'm working so that I can concentrate on the words, on whatever I'm doing rather than the steps. But what I found this does is actually I get my 10,000 steps in pretty much before like 8 a.m. every single day. Today I've done nearly 12,000 steps already, and right now it's 10 o'clock, but majority of them were done before 8 a.m. PubMed, which is one of the top leading scientific research companies, they actually say that adults who successfully lose 10% body fat in 18 months are averaging over 10,000 steps a day, because it's actually really hard to do unless you concentrate on doing it. So I like to do at least 10,000 steps. I've been doing that for over a year and it helped me lose 9 kilos, but also nowadays, I try and get at least 12 to 20,000 steps every single day, just because it's easy for me to do now that I've got my walking pad. Next up, near the end of my working session, I will put on my red light mask. I have the Therabody one. I use both the red light and the infrared light mask. And essentially the red light penetrates your skin layer, like called the dermis, and it's basically been shown to produce collagen to help your skin be more elastic and more youthful, reduce the inflammation, and accelerate cellular repair. And then I also use the blue light only if I have active spots, because otherwise this can damage your skin barrier and increase hyperpigmentation, etc. But it targets acne causing bacteria on the surface. So I use that, again, habit stacking. I don't really need to take any extra time out of my day to do it. I just do it right at the end, so it all comes together really quickly. So my number one tip, which I will forever talk about, and it's something that I have mentioned so many times, is consider getting your eyebrows microbladed or mapped. I had mine microbladed because I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, but I don't actually have, between here and here, I have like no hair. My eyebrows go boop. So I got my microbladed and it was the best decision I've ever made. Research from MIT shows that eyebrows are the most important thing to be recognized for facial recognition. And if you change the shape of your eyebrows, then this can change how you look completely. The owner of Anastasia Beverly Hills, the makeup brand, and the empire, which is like a unicorn, is huge, especially in America. She essentially got so famous because she was actually helping celebrities and ordinary people map their eyebrows properly, because this makes people more attractive. So if you get your eyebrows right, then you will change your face completely. And so much so that I actually have evidence of this. When I was trying to go to my honeymoon in Kenya, basically my passport photo is from 10 years ago. I need to renew it soon. But essentially, my visa did not get approved because it said that it didn't recognize me because my face had changed. And the main reason for this is because I've had my eyebrows microbladed. So the government wouldn't even recognize me. Crazy. I'll put Robin, who I got my eyebrows microbladed with. She is the best. I'll put her here. But essentially, it's like semi-permanent tattoo, doing small little hair strokes. So it looks like your actual eyebrows. She's the best. She honestly maps your face so well. It genuinely changed my face so much. Or even just to get them shaped professionally, not just by any Tom, Dick and Harry. Actually go on Instagram or wherever and search for the best eyebrow artist near you, because it genuinely makes such a difference. I've had so many people who got their eyebrows microbladed and they're rubbish compared. So definitely go on Instagram and check what style you like and know that you're in safe hands if you decide to do that yourself. Second tip, instead of getting lip filler, instead of spending loads on getting fuller lips, because fuller lips increase attractiveness, because your lip to face ratio is a key marker of your youth and your health. So your fuller your lips, as you get older, you lose volume, the better, aka more you look younger. So that is why people get their lips filled, also because of social media, but essentially that's the science behind why people get their lips filled. Thought about getting mine done until I found a natural lip liner, which I overline my lips with. I overline them more in the cupid's bow and right underneath in the center, and then I just follow my natural lip line. And because it lasts all day, it doesn't fade, your lips will look so much fuller for longer. It should be only slightly deeper than your natural lip line, or the same color as your natural lips, to make this method work for you, because I used to overline my lips with lip liner that wasn't my natural shade, and it just looked super random, especially when it would start peeling off. Additionally, you should pair it with a lip oil, a lip balm, a lip gloss on top, because the shine will make it also appear more voluminous as well. Next is one of my favorite tips, is the big earring theory. No one really understands what I'm talking about here. Genuinely, having bigger earrings will change your face. Like, this will change your face. This will also change your outfit. And I think it's a really easy way to style like a boring top like this, for example. I like it. But if I didn't have the necklace, if I didn't have the earrings, this outfit would look a lot different. Essentially, if you have larger earrings, they draw your eyeline down on your face, and therefore your face looks longer and slimmer. And therefore it's super effective if you have a very round face like me. I always say I've got a small head but a moon face, because essentially you're mimicking a better face shape, which is perceived as more attractive. Also, like, it really doesn't cost loads. I just get mine from vintage stores, or you know, Louisa have loads of really cheap ones. You don't have to get ones that cost an arm and a leg. Another really important thing that I did to make me hotter was doing a blood test. I did one with Medichecks. I'll leave my code below if you want to get 15% off, but I've talked about this loads. Essentially, got a blood test which covers over 50 biomarkers. Done one for my general body, and I've also done one for my skin. And essentially, they test all of these different things going wrong internally, so that you can fix the internal triggers and actually the issues internally of what might be wrong, rather than just treating the symptoms. Now I take an iron supplement every other morning with a glass of vitamin C, because you actually need to absorb the iron. You need to be taking it with vitamin C or it doesn't absorb, and you need to be taking it away from food. So this is another perk of getting up early, because I get to take it and then eat when I normally would eat later on in the day. And the water stacks perfectly as well, because I always want to try and drink at least 1 glass of water straight away as soon as I wake up. But because I'm taking my vitamin C, I do this anyway, and it's a great way to just stay hydrated because you dehydrate in the night. Another thing as well is I always have food before caffeine, because caffeine spikes your cortisol levels, cause inflammation, but also help you store fat, etc. So if you eat first, it kind of blunts that cortisol spike so you don't spike as much, which is great because you don't want to spike your cortisol levels, because cortisol, like I said, is a stress hormone. So essentially will help you hold on to inflammation. Cortisol also breaks down collagen, which is bad for your skin, because the higher your cortisol, obviously you want more collagen to stay youthful, to stay young, and past 20, I think it's past 25 or 28, collagen levels start to reduce anyway, so you could be reducing the spikes as much as possible to try to stay elastic and stay youthful and young. It also helps with your energy stability and your mood as well. So that's my morning stack. As I do my walking, working, I do a bit of meditation after, which I'm trying to incorporate into my life, and then I will eat, and then I will have a shower, do my makeup, etc. The beauty things that I'm obsessed with at the moment is vitamin C. Can you see my face? It's pretty glowy at the moment, I would say. But C in the morning really helps brighten your skin. It's either ingesting it or putting it on your skin as well. Both have an effect. So because I'm taking it with my iron tablets, I'm ingesting it, but I'm also putting it in my skin as well to give you that internal glow. Research shows that if you take vitamin C, or you have vitamin C in your skin, then it actually travels through the bloodstream in every layer of your skin, and it boosts collagen and skin renewal, again keeping you young, keeping you youthful, keeping you brighter. It also inhibits this thing called trisinase. Could be saying that completely wrong, but essentially what this does is it reduces dark spots and uneven skin tones. So again, just making you look more bright. I apply mine before moisturizer and before SPF in the morning, and it's a great way just to make yourself look a bit more youthful. This might seem rogue, but one thing that will guarantee to make you hotter is how you talk to yourself and how you feel about yourself. I've been learning so much about neuroscience and the brain, and how the way that your brain perceives life is so much to do with how you talk to yourself, your thoughts and your inner beliefs. So I've really been working on positive affirmations, mantras and gratitudes, because the more positive you talk about yourself and the less limiting beliefs you have, the more positivity you see in the world, and therefore the more opportunities you will be presented. Honestly, the studies are wild of actually showing, for example, if you have body dysmorphia, which I used to and still do sometimes, you actually see yourself differently in the mirror to what you actually are. It is completely in your brain, and you have the power to change that. For example, I was looking at myself in the mirror earlier because I've just come off a 24-hour flight from Australia, and I was thinking, God, I'm so bloated and gross. And then I stopped myself and I said, no, Elena. And out loud, I was like, no, you are so strong. You have a bit of extra water weight, but that's part of life. You're doing the work now, you're getting strong, you're getting healthy, you're putting the right nutrients in your body, and your body is just fluctuating because it's been in a bloody tin can for 24 hours. So you are smashing it, and you look fucking gorgeous, and you are a skinny queen. I felt so much better about myself instantly. But imagine if you said that to yourself every single day, how good you would feel, and how your perception of yourself really will change the opportunities that you can see. And the last thing I want to talk about is your nighttime routine. This should be a sacred step in any glow up routine, and also sleeping more. You will get the most benefits for your skin, your inflammation, your body. Everything will change if you get better sleep. There's so much science to show that if you just sleep more, you're able to lose weight because you can make more rational decisions, and your cravings will be lower because your leptin and ghrelin, which are your appetite hormones, will be extreme and more close together and not working against each other as much. Growth hormones released during deep sleep stimulates collagen, stimulates elasticity production. When you add more on your skincare into your nighttime skincare routine and hair care routine, then this will apply in harmony with your natural repair cycle. So having a sacred nighttime routine is essential and genuinely has made such a difference to my face. So I'm going to talk about my stack that I do. Number one, this is coming from a girl who had like massive hormonal breakouts and like cystic spots 6 months ago and is now back to having clear, glowy skin. And these are everything that I changed. Essentially, I'd damaged my skin barrier and my gut wasn't super healthy. So I repaired my skin barrier and repaired my gut. And those are the two things that made such a difference to my skin. Number one, like I said, I needed to stop using such harsh cleansers, so I switched to CeraVe, cleanse my face with that. It's so good for the eyes. It doesn't irritate my eyes, my skin never feels inflamed afterwards, and it's just so much better for my skin barrier. I then go in with my Skin and Me doser. This is personalized to my skin issues, my skin results. It's so good. I literally love it because I saw it online a lot. And I tried it for myself and genuinely my skin changed in less than a month. What you do is you talk about your skin concerns and then you also send loads of pictures as well. And then a skin specialist looks into your pictures, looks into what you've talked about your issues are, and they'll provide a personalized skincare routine for you to use every single day. It's also so easy, you just twist it and then like the perfect amount comes out, so you're never wasting anything, you're never not sure if you've put enough on. And essentially what I found is that it's made my skin tone more even, it's helped keep spots at bay, and I even feel like my skin texture has changed and it's a lot more smooth. Definitely recommend adding that into your routine. I actually do have a code as well, Elenaa.everyday, which I'll put on the screen, I'll put in the description. Then I put my growth serums on. So I want to try and rectify that I have no hair in part of my eyebrows. So I've been using the Nano Brow growth serum on my eyebrows. It's funny because I was really checking this morning to see if I thought they had grown, because I've been using it for about a month and a half. One eyebrow, it has stimulated growth. The other one, it hasn't in that area. So that's really interesting. But it definitely has made my eyebrows thicker. The front, it definitely works because I've been seeing hair, which I've never seen before in different areas, working on one of my eyebrow patches. So interesting. And I've also been using a lash oil. I use the Pearl Lash Oil, and again, I've been using it for about a month and a half. I'm shocked at the results. Even my eyelash lady comes and curls my lashes. She was like, you've got so much hair, eyebrow hair growth, and they're so much longer already, which is crazy, and I haven't had lashes that long in a long time. Then I lock in all the actives. So I do go in with a moisturizer. I use a collagen cream by Medicube, and one thing I used to do was use the Booster Pro, because that helps lock in the moisture and lock in your and helps them absorb in the skin. I stopped doing it for a while, but I've started doing it again, and honestly it makes such a difference to your skin, both the collagen cream and using the Booster Pro. Another thing, as I said, I want to try and stimulate hair growth because of my hair loss due to low ferritin. I actually have this thing called Telogen effluvium, which was verified by a trichologist, and which is essentially a type of hair loss due to low iron. And other lifestyle factors, which she said probably because I have really low ferritin, that's why. And essentially it gives you baldish spots here in your hairline. So I want to try and stimulate growth in that area, which I think I have. Again, it's like taking the iron tablets, and then I've been using a hair growth oil by Aromazones, and also using a hair mask by Aromazones, as I want as much glowing, gorgeous hair as I possibly can. And lastly, in my nighttime routine, I put my legs up a wall for 10 minutes. And this is because I have high water retention in my legs. I know this because when I take my socks off, at the end of the day, I have sock marks, and they used to last sometimes until the morning, which apparently is not normal, by the way. My bad. So essentially, you put your legs up a wall, it creates lymphatic drainage, it also reduces cortisol, it creates a nervous system down regulation before bed. And I do my gratitudes whilst I'm on the floor, and it's just a great habit stacking way to wind down before bed so you can get the best sleep possible. So I've rapid fired those, but those are my top tips on how you can get as hot as possible in the next few weeks. I understand this is a lot, but as you can tell, you can habit stack a lot of them. And also, don't overwhelm yourself. Just choose 2 or 3 new things every single week, do them, and then just keep adding more and more once you get used to them. Now let's talk about my quick tips on how you can get richer with low effort as possible. It's proven that the more you earn and additional incomes you earn, the more likely you are able to save more in the long run. You want to change how much is in your bank account. If you don't want to be worrying about how to pay your bills, or going into your overdraft, or going on holiday with your mates, or saving for a house, all of the things that we want to do in our lives. Finding additional ways of earning money is the best way to do this. Put here my 5 side hustles that I would do in 2026, which cost less than 50 quid here. So I'm not going to bore you with all the different side hustles that I would do, but I would definitely consider getting a side hustle if I was you. However, there's also amazing ways to save money and to make it easier for you to save money as well. Saving automatically, because this reduces the willpower to actually save yourself. I've got Starling and Monzo pots that I use. Money gets automatically transferred into those pots when I spend certain money. Science shows that self-control functions like a muscle. So the more you use it, the more tired it gets, and you want to try and reduce the friction as much as possible for you to be able to save. So having a good system in place will beat that willpower, and then you won't even have to think about it. Also, getting a stocks and shares ISA, you can have 20 grand a year tax-free growth, and you want to try and reduce the tax as much as possible, especially if you're earning some side hustle income as well. I would suggest having that and automatically putting money in there, even if it's £50 a month, but having that automatically go in so you don't even have to worry. Obviously, this is not financial advice. If you want long-term savings, how you can potentially invest it instead. Typically, if you invest in like index funds or stocks and shares ISAs, in index funds, for example, then typically if you leave it in there for a long period of time, you will end up getting a better return than if you just leave it in a savings account. Another thing is having a savings account and making sure you're checking interest rates on your savings accounts, because just by doing small little swaps, you can actually increase how much money you get back. If you have a low yield saving account, which is what most banks will just automatically put your money into, you should spend 2 minutes and look at the other options, because there's so many other options and they will be able to grow your money more for you, because inflation is wild. So if you leave it in just a normal savings account, your money will be decreasing so much. And another thing that I want to talk about quickly, which I won't bore you with, is investing and spending in things which are just making your life richer in experiences. Investing in your life, like, it's not just all about saving for a house and saving for things like that, but like, what events, experiences, travel, community, learning can you do and can you spend your money on to compound and to enrich your life that savings can't do? Maybe you're building a different identity, maybe you're building different skills, different relationships. Like for me, for example, I spent £1,500 starting my first side hustle before I got any returns. And that was because I wanted to spend money to make money. So don't just always think about the short-term gains of saving something or investing in something, but trying to think long-term that maybe it is good to spend some money sometimes if it's going to change your life in a better, positive way. Finally, let's talk about all the ways you can get fitter. So talking about food and movement mainly. Let's talk about intuitive eating and my framework, which I love, which I got from nutritionists and scientists and food scientists, is the add, don't subtract framework, which I live by now, especially as a girl who used to binge eat, who had an eating disorder, who genuinely hated her body, herself, her mind, everything about her self-image was down in the dumps. Nah, not anymore. I never think about what can I take off my plate. Nah, I just think, what can I do to add to my plate to make it more nutritious for my gut, for my body, for my soul, and eating for future me rather than eating for Elena now. To lose weight, you've got to reduce the amount of calories, so your calorie intake must be lower than your calorie exertion to lose weight. For me, that always used to increase my food noise, that always used to make me think about food so much more, that always made me want to snack more, that always made me feel like food was scarce, and therefore my body would go into overdrive and always be thinking about food. But if I now think, instead of in a negative mindset, I always think, what can I add to my plate that will make this more nutritious for me? So for example, I'll put in a picture of my breakfast. I could have just had scrambled egg on toast, but I thought, what can I add to this to make this even more healthy for my gut? Because if you have a happier gut, then that is connected by a vagus nerve to your brain. You will feel happier as well. So 30 different plants every single week. So I'm always thinking, what small things can I add? And I'm not thinking about the calories. I didn't once think about the calories in that meal. I just thought, yum, it's gonna taste delicious. And now I feel super full. I'm not gonna be eating. I won't need lunch till like 2 p.m. And I don't have food noise anymore, because I'm always thinking, yeah, I've had so much more fiber, I've had more protein than just a simple egg on toast. Now let's talk about intuitive eating. There's also research by PubMed which shows that eating shows a lower risk of higher weight status, lower engaging in diets and yo-yo dieting and unhealthy weights, lower binge eating. I've talked about this so much, I'm going to leave the video here which I talk about it more in detail, but it's like connecting your conscious brain to your unconscious brain. People always think, oh, I'm eating intuitively because I'm eating this donut, because I'm giving my body what it wants. Yes, technically that's right, but you're not going to be able to lose weight or get to your fitness goals that you want if you're doing that. Like, as in, if you have that mindset, of course, if you eat a donut, you can still get to your fitness goals. That's not what I'm saying. But it's more about when you are full. And I think for me, who's a super fast eater, who always binge and restricted, that was the issue that I was having, that I would just eat out of control because I was not portion controlling, because I wasn't even thinking about it. I would think, oh, this is healthy food, and just eat until I was full. Like today, I actually left half of my sweet potato, which I'm going to eat at lunch, because I was full. Obviously no food waste, because I hate food waste. I'll just eat it later, and that will help me lose weight, because again, if I have a donut, I'm going to enjoy my donut and then just get back on my healthy eating journey and eating for future Elena in my next meal. Being intuitive and actually focusing on what your body needs at that moment to help you lose weight or change whatever you want to change about your life, because glowing up does not necessarily mean getting skinnier. Absolutely not. It's just being more comfortable in yourself, no matter what that is for you. There's huge studies which show that your gut microbiome influences your skin conditions, influences your metabolic rate. Eating better will genuinely improve your life. And it's not just about eating less crap as well, because you might think that eating bread is not crap, but which is true, it's not. But only if you eat the right type of bread, for example, sourdough with only 5 ingredients, yes, that's gonna be great. Like, this was my problem. I always thought like the one with nuts or seeds, like the seeded bread was really healthy for you. You look at the back of the packet, there's like 30 ingredients that you can't even pronounce half of them, so it's not your fault. You probably don't even realize, like I didn't realize, what's good for me and what's bad for me, and what's whole foods and what's not. So I recommend actually reading this book, The Good, the Bad, the Healthy. Super interesting for different swaps at different price points. And it makes you understand the food system a lot more, so you can recognize what's actually better for you, so you can try and eat more of those things. Another thing that I've done to help me get fitter is by exercising more in accordance to my menstrual cycle. This is called cycle syncing. You know, day 1 to 14, you know, your follicular phase. This is when you can lift harder, do more HIIT, do more strength training. You will have more energy in this stage, so why not utilize it? And then when you're ovulating, this is a great time to try and strive for your PBs. Say you're spinning, let's go for the top of the leaderboard. Can you push out a couple more reps? Can you increase your weights? Trying to do that in this stage will really help you get the maximum out of your workouts. And then in your luteal phase, this is when your progesterone rises and your body temperature increases. The perceived effort of doing something will go up. So fine, but maybe just drop down the intensity a bit. Or maybe you're switching your exercise. Instead of doing spinning, you're doing Pilates. It's like thinking about all those little things that you can do to work with your body and not against it. I don't know if I've mentioned this on YouTube before, but there was a fascinating study. In 2019, when there was the World Cup, the US women's team won the World Cup, and essentially what the coaches and trainers said, the reason they won the World Cup is because they tracked every player individually, their hormone cycle, and they made them sleep. They changed their sleep patterns, they changed what they ate, and they changed their exercise patterns depending on where they were in their cycle, depending for each game. Absolutely fascinating. Definitely recommend tracking your energy, tracking your periods, etc., to see how you feel. But it really worked for me, it really helped me, and I feel like I'm so much less inflamed, because I used to be spinning like 4 times a week and then be like, why have I not lost weight? So intense, girl. You're stressing yourself out. Obviously, like I said, do your research before. These are just ideas from that work for me, but it might not work for you. Last but not least, I cannot not mention electrolytes. Put them in my water this morning because I feel so dehydrated. I've got such a big headache from the flight. But adding in electrolytes, if you are feeling like you've got a headache, it will help you be more productive. It will help you give you more energy. Drinking more water in general, a lot of people don't drink enough water every single day. Having a water bottle that you don't have to close so there's you can easily sip it. Making the habit more accessible, more easy will help you drink more water and get the benefits of clearer skin, more energy, less headaches, everything like that. Also, the more hydrated you are, the less you have cravings for things, because a lot of the time when you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty as well. But those are my tips and tricks on how you can get hotter, richer and fitter. That's exactly what my holistic glow up looks like. I mean, last year I've dramatically changed for the better. I feel so much better. I feel so much more energized, and I genuinely feel like my hair, skin, nails, body, face, everything just looks and feels much more aligned to the person that I want to become. And it just shows that if you do small daily things, they can compound and give you so much growth and so much change in, you know, as little as a year, which in the grand scheme of life is nothing. If you've enjoyed these tips and tricks and you found it useful, definitely like and subscribe, and do comment which one's your favorite glow up tip that you're going to be starting to help you live your hottest, richest, fittest life. Looking forward to seeing you next week.